Next, a soaring homicide rate in Chicago prompts alarm, mourning, and changes. It's been a bloody year in the city. Nearly 300 people have been killed in the first 7 months of the year. That's 31% higher than it was a year ago. Residents are angry. Special correspondent Elizabeth Brackett of WTTW reports on how police are changing their approach in a hard-hit district.
Okay, so today, as always, we're going to make sure that we're deployed to our conflict zones.
Commander Lynette Helm gives the afternoon shift their orders before they head out to their beats in Chicago's 3rd Police District on the city's south side. Officers once in specialized units and desk jobs are now being moved to the street. It's part of a new strategy to combat violence that Deputy Chief Eddie Johnson says is working.
These guys are actually assigned to the districts. They're assigned to those beats, so they get to know the community people. They get to know the gang members. You know, there's a difference in, you know, the 16-year-old going to play basketball and the 16-year-old going out to gangbang.
Some Chicago aldermen think the old strategy of deploying specialized rapid response units to saturate an area once violence broke out was more effective.
We saw a big difference when that would happen. It was like, you know, in war where you throw it all down and it scatters and everybody gets scared. It's a little good scare tactic. And so, yeah, from the community standpoint, it worked.
But that saturation strategy brought only short-term results, says Chicago Police Superintendent Gary McCarthy.
First of all, saturating it is like putting a Band-Aid on a gunshot wound. We're not repairing anything by doing that.
Since getting more officers back on the streets, most crime statistics are down. But the murder rate has soared. And Mayor Rahm Emanuel has staked his reputation on bringing the rate down. In the 3rd Police District, murder is up 91% over last year. What do you hear?
Multiple gunshots. I mean, like the war zone, you know, not just a couple of shots. And they in separate places. It's not just like one block is, you know, 4 different places where they shooting at.
The 3rd District encompasses gritty street corners, vacant land, and boarded-up buildings. But it also has quiet, tree-lined streets. Michelle Obama's childhood home is in the 3rd District. Police say 75 to 80% of the murders and shootings here are gang-related.
So one of the things that we did early on was conducted a gang audit in all 23 districts in the city. That information is then given to the district commanders along with the field officers and the frontline supervisors. One of the things that we focus on is it's difficult to stop the first shooting sometimes, but we focus on the subsequent shootings, you know, because sometimes one shooting will result in 3, 4, 5, 6 additional shootings.
When officers Barbara Jenkins and Amin Mustafa are on patrol, they have all the information from the gang audit at their fingertips. Whenever they stop someone, the officers immediately go to their computer.
The gang audit has been extremely important and an important tool for the field officers. Before, like when I came on the job, you know, we didn't have portable data terminals to you know, run a name check or anything. But now an officer can, you know, run a name, put a name in their computer in their portable data terminal, and come up with a gang member's name and come up with, you know, associates or things of that nature that can help them in their crime fighting.
The homicide rate has slowed down some in the month of June. But on June 24th, a 13-year-old was gunned down right here on this block. His was the 21st death in the district since January 1st. The 13-year-old's murder is under investigation with no suspects in custody. After that killing and a big spike in the number of shootings, Commander Helms again adjusted the crime-fighting strategy.
We identified violent zones in our district where we put officers, you know, in that area to, you know, to do these missions. But we also, like I said, we did more contact with the community. We have the officers doing foot patrol. We did a whole lot of holistic approaches. We've got our churches involved. We've asked them to open their doors. So those are some of the things that we did a little bit differently.
There are over 175 churches and mosques in the 3rd Police District, ranging from huge institutions to small storefronts, and many have responded to the crisis of violence. Charles Matthews takes his church's message to the streets.
Nothing won't happen to you like what happened over here with this little boy that got killed over here.
Matthew tells the kids about several summer programs offered by the church and urges them to give the programs a try. He became a parent volunteer for the church after getting fed up with the neighborhood violence.
I got involved because I'm hurting for the community.
The Parkway Gardens Christian Church kept its Safe Haven program running in the summer, even though it lost its funding from the Chicago Public Schools. It's a second job for Director Jennifer Maddox. A Chicago police officer, Maddox is assigned to the 3rd District.
It's frustrating to see the kids out here, in the violence, and they're, getting shot at, running from, violence and things like that. That's why it's so important to have some activities for them to do so that they won't be hanging on the corners.
Pastor Edward Morris keeps a watchful eye on a group of older boys as they play a hot game of basketball.
Every kid that we can get off the street, every teenager particularly, or African-American male, so that we can have in a place like this during the times of the shootings, where they know they've got a safe place to come. We feel that we've put in somewhat of a dent in it. While it may appear to be a Band-Aid, if there's just one life that's saved, there's just one kid that changes his mind on how he wants to exist in this world, we believe we're making a difference.
A safe haven is important for kids like 16-year-old Antoine Varner, a program counselor.
It's unsafe. I'm actually afraid to walk out my front door.
Have gangs ever tried to recruit you?
No.